Try once more, sorry about this.
So to run through the agenda for the next time, I will be going through a brief overview of the changes. So who this affects, when this affects, and then what are the key changes. Yeah. Then Josh will go through how this is an opportunity of how we should exist as a society or not. And if we don't want to exist as a society, then what shall we do? Then Daniel will go through some constitution changes, which is what the old rules were. And then Georgia will go through some reporting standard changes. That's great. So who do these changes affect? So these changes incorporate societies. All incorporated societies will need to re-register under the new Act. Incorporated as charities still need to go through the re-registration process, but they will continue to report under the registered charities standards. So here's a timeline for the changes. Right now, the development of regulations to support the new Act is still taking place, and this is where we can start having the conversations, preparing for the changes and plan for the change. Then we fast forward to over this year. That is when the new Act starts applying. Societies can now re-register under the new Act, given they meet the new requirements. And those that do not re-register will continue to exist under the existing 1908 Act, unless they deregister. Then we go forward to the 5th of April in 2026, which this is kind of the cutoff for when you need to be re-registered by. And any society that has not re-registered will cease to exist. And that means that you can no longer hold anything in its name, including assets and all debt obligations. So between the 5th of October and the 5th of April, there's about 2.5 years to re-register. So that's when we can plan for the change. There's quite a long gap, but no need to panic. So some of the key changes that are coming with the new Act. So under of minimum number of members from 15 to 10, and all members must consent to being members. Consent will need to be collected from each member of the, and this can be by ticking a box to renew their annual membership. And each society must appoint at least one contact person to be contactable by the registrar. Societies must now have a governing committee, manages the operations and affair of the society. 3 people need to be on the committee, so there wasn't a requirement before this. Each committee member is now an officer, as well as positions like the treasurer and CEO of the society. Officers have new company directors that are under the company. These officers, the new duties for these officers, some include acting in good faith, complying with the incorporated society, exercising reasonable care and diligence. On the society's board or committee, members of the society. Constitution for your society, which wasn't before. 22. The new Act. Constitution. On the New Zealand site, Constitution Builder tool that helps you whole new societies. For complaints, a distribution process must society's constitution as well, and this process of the rules of natural justice.
Sorry, Annette. It's not. It wasn't. It was good for a while, and now it's just started cutting out every sort of second or third word.
Okay.
This presentation will be provided.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Jasmine's just mentioned in the chat. She's following the slides. She can understand.
Okay.
So we might just keep going and try our best.
Okay. Thank you. We're sorry about that. I think we must have a technical. It must be a glitch with our system. So, yeah. But obviously, if anyone that's on the Zoom is having trouble, we'll send the recording out if possible. And we'll try, you can always come and we'll send out the slides to DCA, and we may be able to send out the transcript as well. So we'll do our best to get information to you.
Yeah, just carry on. So the process must be considered of natural justice, so like the right to be heard and no prejudging. New rules define when an officer also has a duty to disclose those conflicts. Other key changes are financial reporting is now simplified for and an annual general months of the society's balance date, which there wasn't a requirement before. Societies can provide insurance and indemnify employees that protects them from legal liability. I'll now pass them on to Josh.
Hi, guys. Ask the question of the re-register. Or something. The purpose of your thing, this is something you update your all of you guys, and also societies. So for charities. So we will some of those. You could just become an group. So really, this could be an option. Instead of
Just pause for a minute, just
Yeah.
testing. Can you hear me? They seem to be able to hear me, but not you. So come over here and yell. Sorry, and just try and project. Really gonna have to work hard on the voice. Sorry, because that comes through. As soon as I'm talking, we're hearing more. So you know, you're on the stage.
okay, another option is to merge or join with another organization. As previously said, there is quite likely other societies or organizations doing stuff in the same communities as you guys. Is there an opportunity for you guys to merge into one bigger organization possibly? Do you guys do similar things? Do you guys have a similar purpose? That is another thing to consider. However, we would recommend that you get expert advice on these things. Some resources available to you would be first to go to the New Zealand Companies Office website. This has a lot of good starter information into what the new requirements start, and it basically lists all the key functions, basically what we're covering today. So we would also recommend the Department of Internal Affairs have been recommended to get information from. And also Community Law Otago is another organisation which offers free legal advice, similar to the way we offer free accounting advice at Dunedin Community Accounting. They also would be a good person to ask for legal advice. And again, accountants and lawyers are also good people to ask, although we know the cost involved with that. And again, not all accountants and lawyers are experts on charities and incorporated societies. I will now pass it on to Daniel.
Cool. Thanks, Josh.
Cool. So while we've provided a brief overview of the changes, it is important to take the time and understand them yourself. The other thing is we are always available at Dunedin Community Accounting, and you can book in to see us every single Monday. So although hopefully we have made things clearer, key message is to do the thinking now. However, wait for the tools which are going to aid you in the process. So to help facilitate the process of updating our current constitution, an online constitution builder is planned, and that will be rolled out when we have some more clarity about the regulations. So this tool is going to be invaluable. It is going to be the aid to update our constitution, which, as we've mentioned, might be quite old and often out of date as well. So we're really just updating these constitutions, bringing them to today's language, and just making things a lot more simple. These are sometimes over 100 years old, so we're dealing with a very old act. As Josh has mentioned, it is highly recommended that we seek legal advice when we're altering our constitutions. And there are various groups which are going to aid us in that process. We have mentioned community law. I'm currently sorting that out, and hopefully they will be able to assist in the constitution process. But we're very aware that accessing lawyers isn't often something that societies can do. They're very expensive. So we're going to try and remove those barriers. To prepare ourselves for the changes, we need to identify what is and what isn't working in our current constitution. We should assess the relevance and nature of our rules. We should consider any cultural or legal changes. And additionally, we should factor things like audit requirements, committee sizes, the purpose of our society, restrictions, and overall the clarity of our rules. In terms of actually making the changes to our constitution, it's very essential to identify who is going to take part in that process. So our general members and committee members are going to play a crucial role in this. But it is a good question to ask. Is there a purpose going forward for the society? Are there people who are willing to step up and help? Furthermore, we need to prepare for the new format. So that involves considering the composition of the committee, the board, and the membership. We should also ensure there's enough dedicated individuals to help with that process, as we've mentioned. Lastly, it's essential that we reflect on our purpose. And this is a great opportunity to realign and redefine what we do as societies. So our new constitution will reflect the purpose and will set us up for the future. I'll pass you over to Georgia.
So as it has been said, you don't actually need to do anything while the changes don't come into play until October. And then you still have another year, 2.5 years to then figure out what you're going to do. However, it is good to start thinking of ways that you can plan for the upcoming changes. So the 2022 Act is out for the regular.
Just read them. I was watching the captions.
Okay, so the 2022 Act is out, but the regulations and reporting standards are still waiting to be finalised, and they are expected to be released in September of 2023. And we will let you know when they are finalised, and we'll communicate that with you. However, we expect the annual filing will continue, and we know that these are going to be similar to the charities standards and trusts. The format of your reporting is dependent on your annual operating payments. As seen on screen, these are going to be what it's kind of going to be like. If you have less than 50,000 annual operating payments and less than 50,000 current assets, you'll be classified as a small society, and you will have your own specific standards to follow. They will still be able to run special purpose accounts, and they are similar guidelines to the reporting standards. If your operating payments are greater than 50,000 and less than 140,000, you will come under Tier 4 standards. And for Tier 3, if your operating payments are 140,000 and between 140,000 and 2 million. So for the time being, all you can do is make sure you're prepared. Think about if you're keeping good financial records of your receipts and payments, assets and liabilities. Think about how you're keeping these records and if this is efficient. It might be a good idea to download Xero or other alternatives to help keep a good cash book. However, it doesn't matter if these documents are manually or electronically stored as long as you have all the information. If you're worried about this or need some extra help, we are here to help you at DCA in order to make this transition seamless. Again, don't hesitate to seek help from professionals. So some key messages from the whole entire presentation. Again, let's reinforce, plan, don't panic, you still have time to act. But of course, it's good to start planning and thinking about changes. There is still lots of time, and registration period is again what we said, October 2023 to April of 2026. Seek professional advice early if you're concerned. And again, more reporting standards will be available in September 2023. So you just need to look out for those changes. Here on the screen, we've already gone over this a bit, but these are where you can seek advice. When we send out the presentation to you, these are all linked, so you can just click on the titles and they'll take you to where you can get help. That's all we have for now. I hope everything is clear and this presentation has allowed you a bit more insight for the upcoming changes. Again, let's reinforce that you still have time, so in the meantime, plan, do not panic. Did anyone have any questions? If we can't answer your question, we will write them down and then we'll get back to you. But yeah.
Thank you, guys. So just one more thing just before we go into questions is that we are a free service, and of course we have to apply for grants and things like that to keep going, and so we just want to make a moment to thank our funders. So yeah, but we'll open up for questions. We'll do our best to help. Anyone got any questions? And if anyone is on Zoom, hopefully you can unmute and ask a question. It should work.
I was just wondering why they're doing this, like, is it something to do with all that money laundering sort of, details that they're collecting in every other area? They're sort of getting stricter with everything? Or?
So the question is, why are they doing this? This was done to charities, on charities register that happened a few years ago. I believe it happened to companies a few years before that. I think some of it is around standardizing what's going on. One of the discussions I heard was that when things got messy and had to go through the courts, the law around some of the constitutions wasn't good enough for judges to make decisions on. So I think there's some standardization of the law so that it becomes clearer the responsibilities of who is doing what. Like they're wanting I think that's the key for the constitution changes, is making them more legal and easier to rule on. And the reporting standards, I think it's around standardization. They're going to look very similar to what's already happening with charity services. And I think it's probably just around just tidying things up, because at the moment, there's no real rules about how you report your society and what they're doing. And so I think it's that, and some through this process will start to drop off and go, well, we don't need to be in existence anymore. And there'll be a wee bit of tidying up there. But I think that's some of what's happened. I can't be absolutely sure, but most things have gone through this process at some stage. Seems like incorporated societies are one of the last to go through this. The questions?
So I just wonder, so they mentioned the different sides, so there will be the reporting system will be different according that.
Yeah, so if we go back, so it was a question, let me go back, about the reporting standards. So here we go. Yeah. So my understanding is, I think some standards might have just been released, but there's going to be a definition which is a small society, which probably most of you will fit in. And it'll look very similar to producing a profit and loss and a balance sheet. So it's really just a statement of income, expenditure, and any assets that you hold. So it's not going to be complicated, but it will be in a standard format. And even tier 4 is very similar in that it's all just on cash. So what you got in, what you got out. Tier 3 is when it becomes accrual accounting, but most of you will be outside of that unless you've chosen to. We have some organisations that would be tier 3 are using accrual accounting, but don't necessarily have to. But I'm assuming most of you, so it's not going to be particularly onerous. But again, it's that recording, making sure you've got a way that you're recording your operating payments, expenses, and you've got a list of your assets. I think will be the beginning of being able to report like that. But most of you would have already been doing it because you would have been sending off your form to incorporated societies. So it's not something, it's not new. It'll just be that they'll want a format that looks the same as everybody else.
I was just going to say they're probably receiving so many different ones that they need to stand.
Yes. I think it's very much about standardization, but this is new, the small societies. And I think it's going to come in hopefully for charities as well. That I think people were finding that the tier 4, even though it wasn't too bad, it was still a little bit more complex. And small societies will be a lot simpler. So it's a good change they've made here. Yeah. Questions? I think the key, we mentioned the Constitution Builder. I was just having another look at that today. So at the moment, the Constitution Builder is still under the old rules and old regulations, the 1908 Act. Yep. So don't use that or touch that until it's been updated with the new rules. So that's why we're saying think about what you might like to change, think about what you'd like to do, but don't touch it until everything's been updated, and just make sure that it is updated, because you don't want to build a constitution that's not legal. So my honest opinion will be that there'll be so many societies needing to go through this process, they're going to have to make this simple. It's impossible for all of you as small societies to be consulting lawyers and accountants and getting this right. So I'm hoping that they will come out with some really clear guidelines on the Constitution. So if it was me, I would be having the conversations in my committee this year about looking at your Constitution. You might find that it's outdated or that's not us anymore, but I wouldn't look at changing anything until the new year.
We did ours about 10 years ago, so
Yeah.
we're a society that's only been going for 24 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it may not need a lot of changes, but there was some strict guidelines. I think you said it was on disputes resolution and some other process. So it has the rules about how you resolve a dispute have to be in your Constitution. So once you know what those are, I'm hoping that they'll come out with a set of rules that we can use, and you can just add that to your Constitution. So, but I don't quote me on that, and we'll just see what happens. But I'm hoping they'll make this simple for you guys, because it's not fair to all of you have to go and see a lawyer or have to go and see legal people. But we will see. usually what happens is they roll this out and then they bring in the tools afterwards, so.
So who's they?
They is the company's office, am I correct? So they're the ones that oversee incorporated societies. So that constitution builder is on the company's also website, yeah. But hoping there'll be a lot more information rolling soon. It's just this has got to come into play 1st of October. I think everyone just breathe and then we look at it early next year as to some of the changes and hopefully there'll be information then. And if there's demand, we might do another seminar early next year around specific areas if it's about the constitution or about what tools are there or just to try and help people. But of course, come and have a chat to us. And like they were saying, the key thing, I think, is having good financial records, making sure that what you are doing now is just good quality information is there. That'll make that side of it, the reporting side, easier. So, because as soon as you update and re-register, you then have to report under those new standards.
Annette, there's a couple of questions in the chat here.
Okay. Thanks. Does someone want to read those? If they want to read those questions? Sorry. We'll just read those out.
Otago Deaf Society is a registered charity, so we're familiar with the reporting standards. Frustrating aspect is not having a computer devices, and sometimes it's hard to access the forms required, but it's something I need to contact charities about.
Yes. I can imagine there's some accessibility here, so I think keep at. I think a dripping tap is the strategy with these people, unfortunately. But if I'm not sure if you're local.
Sorry, I missed that. Can you repeat that, please?
I think the question is that some of the forms and using the tools and things is not particularly accessible. I think we've got a member from the Deaf Society here. If we can help at DCA by having an interpreter and working with you, we can help. But I think just keep at these places. The more we tell them that their systems aren't working, hopefully they'll listen. But I'm sorry, if there's any way that DCA can help, please email and we can look at having an interpreter and work with you through the process.
Another thing with charities have part for pay hours / employee, but what if they have contractors?
So it shouldn't affect, these changes shouldn't necessarily affect how you're operating in practice. I think if you have a question around contractors versus employees, that's a DCA question you get quite often. Should I employ someone or should they be a contractor? If that's the question, that's please come and talk to us. You can't really use contractors as a way of opting out of being an employee. If a person is acting like an employee, they are an employee. It's an area we get a little bit. So please, it's probably something I don't want to speak too much on, because there's legal requirements about employees and contractors. There's a set of criteria that if it's a contractor versus if it's an employee. So, but if we can help further, either email through a question or we can arrange an appointment. And if anyone's on Zoom and can't get to DCA, we can happily do the appointments via Zoom. So, yeah. Yeah.
If you're it's an incorporated society, in which case they'll comply with Charities Act 2005, right?
Yeah, you guys happy for me to keep going?
Yeah.
So there's two parts to that question. If you are a registered charity, but still an incorporated society, you will have already been reporting under the Charity Services Standards. So the reporting changes aren't going to affect you. But you are an incorporated society, so you still need to check your constitution. You still need to go through the re-registration process. So yes and no, but if you are a society, all societies have to re-register. So there's no, we're a registered charity, we don't have to. Your constitution as a society has to follow the rules.
Some non-profits are registered under business register, charities register, and companies register. Which one would they? Just one of them? Or what one?
That might be a wee bit out of my depth. If you're an incorporated society, you and registered charity, I'm not sure about the other ones, so. If you are a charitable trust and you're a registered charity, you're under those rules. If you're an incorporated society and a registered charity, you're under. There's sort of two areas, there's reporting standards and there's also your constitutional standards. So I think that would be a question that we'd have to ask later. So with an accountant in the room, that would offer more advice on that, sorry. Yeah, okay. You guys,
There was a thing on one of the slides about when people become members.
Yeah.
They have to like tick a box about something.
Yep.
What was that again?
there we go. Who
Yes,
did that
if
slide?
you're
Do you want to
there.
start here and talk to it?
So it's not, that's just an example of how you can collect the consent of each member. So all new members, when you re-register, they have to consent to being new members. So they have to actively consent, and that's just by ticking a box when renewing their annual membership is just one way of them consenting because it's written. Yeah. Did you want to have good record of that?
But what are they consenting to being an incorporated?
No, being a
Being a
member
member
of your society.
So because the
Oh.
minimum numbers of members required is reduced from 15 to 10, you need to get the consent of them to be a member, so then you can get the number of how many members are going to be in the society.
Every year.
So they every year do that update.
And so every year, that's what we're saying is that your members have to provide consent that they will be a member.
Oh,
So
So
that
when
would be
they
a,
pay their
yes, so by paying their sub, there might be a box that they tick, or it might be at the first meeting of the year, there's a form that they just all put their name to and sign. It's just having a record that these people have given their consent, you haven't just said that all my neighbours are members.
Oh,
So there's no-
we need to sign it up ourselves
Yeah.
or,
Yeah, it's not legal in the sense you don't have to have this contract, it is just somewhere where they have provided their consent and said, yes, I'm a member this year.
Kind of like.
That's not what
how-
Yeah, it's just a formal record of who your members are, yeah.
Okay, so say if they pay online.
Yeah.
Then when they come, we'd still have to every year get them to fill out the form.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I wonder if I'm not sure if payment is enough or not, that would be a good question that we perhaps can't answer yet, do you know?
I don't know specifically myself.
Yeah.
Is that mean that's some kind of re-registration every year or some kind of paperwork?
Yes,
Paperwork.
yes, I think it's some kind of consent, but I'm not sure if
I don't think it's
paying,
clear enough.
I'm not sure, that might be something that we'll need clarified, if payment is,
I think they're
Consent by
actually, I think they're actually
conversation.
signing to the constitution, you know, like they
yeah.
agree with the constitution. I think that's kind of a big part of it.
Yeah, I think so, but I think it's around about just having clear who your members are,
Yeah.
rather than just grabbing
Yeah.
5 people off the street to finish your meeting. Sometimes you need a quorum, so you guys come in and we'll do that.
And would it carry from year to year, or would it just be when we get new members, then we get them to consent? Yeah.
I don't know, this will be an area of to get clarification, and hopefully this will be, perhaps we can put this down as a question. I suspect there will have to be some form of, I agree to be a member for 2024. I agree to be a member of 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
It's
I'm
what-
understanding
Once
from
they
here
could
is
just
that,
have it.
Once we've done a,
You have a sheet.
Yes,
then
it
they-
just be a sign-in sheet.
Yeah,
yeah,
But obviously, if you've got remote members, it might have to be a form or something that they, imagine even an email that they said, I want to be a member for 2023, and sent to the secretary, and the secretary holds that record. As long as there's a record that they consented, I think it's fine.
well, when we get new members, they're given a copy of the constitution to read.
Yes, yeah.
And to hold.
Yeah, and they might then fill out a form, but all your members will have to fill that out each year. Yeah.
Some people like the idea of offering membership, like giving away membership as a present sort of thing.
Yes, Yeah.
But people still have to actually.
yeah, so there's lots of societies won't have a fee, some might have $5, some have nothing. But there's still somewhere at your annual general meeting or at some point, there needs to be consent. Yeah.
Right. Because at the moment, like if they've been, some of them have been members for like 20 years, so I just kind of,
Yeah.
they pay their money and I kind of like just roll them over.
Yes.
And only the new members fill in a form, because, and what sort of thing, do you just need like their name and an email? on the form,
I think
or would you?
I think hopefully more guidance will come.
Okay,
I think, like everything, try and keep it as simple as possible.
yeah,
So I'm assuming somewhere you've got a record.
yeah,
Obviously a tick box, Google form, but if you're not using technology, a piece of paper, or like I say, an email or a, I think we just need to be able to prove that they're a member or they be. So
okay,
something that, yeah, I'm not sure to 100%, and we'll find out, but I imagine it'll be quite simple.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if we could access a template or something like that.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, if you have an online, if you have a payment each year, ideally they would fill a form out and then they can update addresses and emails and phone numbers and things like that, but yeah, it doesn't always
Because
work.
normally they just pay online and then
Yes.
hopefully we catch them.
Yeah.
When they come in, but
Yes,
sometimes we, you know.
Yeah.
we've
I
got
do
them
understand that
and-
it's not that simple, but
Yeah.
hopefully when we see exactly what they're saying, it will, and examples of consent, hopefully it won't be too complex. It definitely won't be complex.
Yeah.
It just will have to be a document that says they consented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite good actually.
Yeah. So any other questions online?
People will come to realise that's the procedure in any club.
Yeah.
And then they'll come to expect that they'll be afforded for level or something.
We can do that
So-
when we incorporate
Anyway, we'll
these changes in phone numbers and addresses.
Sorry, can you repeat that question? I couldn't hear it.
Oh, sorry, it's just a bit of muttering. They're just talking amongst themselves. It wasn't a
Yeah.
question.
You've kind of already asked, I see, just executive interest, they make it on membership.
Yeah, so I think your membership form would be a form of consent if they're signing at the bottom of it, but hopefully there'll be some examples of what consent looks like that will be easy to use. Okay, so we might close the meeting for our Zoom clients. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry about the glitches at the start, but hopefully you got most of the meeting, and we'll tidy up the recording and hopefully. But if there's any questions from our Zoom clients, or if you're not in Dunedin and can't come, but you're welcome to come and book an appointment online. So we'd love to have a chat and help you if we can. So we will close the Zoom now. One of you guys can manage that. Thank you very much.